Well, it says I'm live.
Busting the world's oldest conspiracy, I will prove that the Bible has hidden formats. And by revealing these easy formats to find, I will be revealing the first writer's formats from 2,700 years ago. Our Creator also has his own hidden formats in the text, and I will explain them later. My name is Michael Eashoo. Our Creator has made me see him 8 times. The text you see on the left-hand side comes from the New American Standard Bible, 1977. I will be taking that text and I'll be showing you how this format exists in Psalms 1. You can read, taste the style of this writer and how beautiful the text is. This is the Bible program that I'm using, and this has the 1977 concordance. And what I can do on the left-hand side, I can click on the word which, and on the center image, you can see at the top, that's the Hebrew word. And below, their concordance tells us how many times the word which was used for that Hebrew word. But the dirty secret is, if you look up in the red text, you can see the word anyone, deadly, powder, reason, steward, storehouses. All those have their own Hebrew word. Example, take a look on the left again at the word so, follow the green line across, and you'll see its Hebrew word. Keep following the green line, they used the word 7 times. Not every word in the Bible is following the manuscript correctly. Now, if you studied the text in Exodus 20, verse 1 through 17, you would have found 12 commandments. This is the agreement that our Creator made with the tribe of Israel when he led them out of Egypt in the Sinai. Now, what is important about these is that our Creator set up a tent for meeting with him for forgiveness of they didn't obey these 12 commandments. They were to bring a sin offering. Therefore, there are only 12 sins, and these are them. Now, in Exodus 26, verse 26, I can change the word bars to arches and do a little editing there for the middle. In the text that you see, 26, 27, and 28, it tells me how to reveal to you what the roof looked like. There is the roof by changing one word that they covered up. Now you know that the hip roof was the design that he had given Moses to build the roof for the tent. This means that the house for our Creator also had a hip roof. Now, I showed you some problems with the text. In 1611, the translators wrote what's known as a preface to the Bible. And in their own words, they're telling you a little bit about themselves and what they've done to the text. In the first arrow at the top, they actually give you 4 different
Testing
reasons.
one.
But I wanted to point out the third to show you how stupid it is. They have it by the light and feeling we have attained unto ourselves. Okay, now the second arrow down, a great clerk, Gregory the Divine, and they have a capital D on divine. And you thought Jesus was divine. Your translators are actually telling you that there's another person on this earth that was divine. His name was Gregory. Now the thing here is he became a pope. In the next group down, for the first emperor, when he corrected the calendar, that means he changed our Creator's calendar. And how did our Creator's calendar start in Babylon? Well, that's because Nebuchadnezzar ended up eating grass, and then when he woke up from there, he proclaimed the Creator of the Hebrew people as the Creator of everything. He is the highest God. And therefore, he made the calendar for the Babylon the same as the Hebrew calendar. But now comes a Roman Empire, and all of a sudden, he is changing it to the course of the sun. Notice the word sun as capitalized. This is the sun god from Egypt, Ra. That's why they have it capitalized. If you've never noticed, in the Vatican's courtyard, there's an Egyptian obelisk. They are not who you think they are. Here's something really unique I found, and that's at the bottom. And they're telling you why you study, and your reward for studying the Bible is just to have a fellowship with the saints and a participation of the heavenly nature. There's no such thing as a heavenly nature. Our Creator is the creator of everything. This is your translators. So this tells me that the Bible has a lot of corruption, and a lot of text needs to be removed and edited to make it truthful. And when I go through and I show you the hidden formats, I will be explaining in great detail maps, stories from all over the text, why I am changing words that need to be changed. Other than that, I'll be using the concordance to see if there's another like word that can get me in the same place. Okay, time to get ready for another video here. Clean that up. Get this text a little bit larger. All right, now for those of you who are new, what I'm doing is I replace the word Lord, or the title Lord, and that's because, that's because, how come that didn't pop up today? Hold on. Don't tell me it's not working. Okay, I got to get over here and click on it this way here. All right. Changing our, or replacing our creator's name with the letters YV, and that's the way I pronounce his name. Our creator's name is listed in Strong's this way right here, and Strong's had tried two different ways here, but actually when you listen to people speak about their own language, the Hebrew language, the H is silent sometimes, so you'll see this as his name. But the problem here, if anybody's using a J, O, or W, that's just because they're wrong. That was not in the Hebrew language. So to get it as close as possible, you will be saying YV or Yava. Okay? And that's what I've done here. I went through and I searched this text and clicked on each one of these to find his name over here. As you can see, they replaced his name 6,825 times. Well, enough of that crap. Let's put our creator's name back in and get rid of their words here that are a title but not as true to the text as they should be. Everybody thinks because they read the word God or the title God, they think that's his name. They don't even know the difference between a title or not. They're just being confused by the wrong people editing the text. Now, as it says up here in my list, I'm going to look for the shortest sentences I can. Whoops, I need to pull that down a little bit. And then I'm going to look for the format. Why we do not rebuke me in your anger, nor chasten me in your wrath. In yours anger, this must have been thine's anger. So the words that I'll be getting rid of are like this, such as all these here. Anything in a parentheses meant that they found it in other manuscripts, but they weren't in all manuscripts, but they felt that they were going to get the most out of everyone that was there, and this is absolutely wrong. In your anger, and what I do is I try to capitalize all the letters when I'm respecting and honor our Creator in the text. Your wrath, okay? Be gracious to me, YV, for I'm pining away. Heal me, YV, for my bones are, I don't know about dismayed, that's hard to say that. And my soul is greatly dismayed. Well, but you, YV, how long? Return, YV, rescue my soul. Save me because of your love kindness, and love is better than all this junk. So because of your love for me, so I will come down here, grab that, come over here, and put it in twice, and put this as for me.
And when I'm doing this adding of words, this is how I represent it. So when I clean it up, you'll see that the words will be italic. Gray italic words means I'm completely adding where there needs to be a very strong correction in the text. There is no mention of you in death. In Sheol, who will give you thanks? I am worthy, so I gotta correct this. I went through with all capital letter I's, hoping to be correct in that, and I wasn't. This is just not a good choice of doing a quick edit. I went and took all the Psalms from the New American Standard Bible, and I have them listed, and then to get rid of the dots and catch me up here real quick, so I don't have to do it all the time. I did it all, and as you can see, I got carried away with the letter H. I am weary from sighing every night. I make my bed swim. I dissolve my couch with tears. My eye has wasted away with grief. It has become old. It has become old because of all my adversaries. Depart from me, everyone, you who do iniquity. For YV has heard, not the voice, has heard my voice and my weeping. And just changing a word, I'm going to do this, just to say that there was a word there and I made it a better word. Has heard my voice and don't need the extra word weeping or my. This need to get rid of. YV has heard my supplication. YV has received my prayer. All my enemies will be ashamed and greatly dismayed. They will turn back. They will suddenly be ashamed. Okay, now just by doing that, I didn't put them into groups now. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to, now I'm going to try to make, see what YV, this almost like I could separate that. Do not rebuke. Well, that would be more or less reject me. So reject me. It's easier enough for a 12-year-old child to read it. Don't need to get over sophisticated. And that's what I do in the text. I'm really trying to make sure that it's simple enough for a 12-year-old to read and understand. I'm trying to get rid of all the words that I feel that could be easier said and understood. Nor chasten me in your wrath. Now when it comes to the word chasten me, I want to see what other words, because over here I'm going to look to see if I can find a better word than that. Nor chasten me in your wrath. Nor discipline me with, not in your wrath, with your wrath. So I'm going to use the word discipline. Yeah, that looks better. So, nor DISPLNE, and this will be just a replacing of this word. Not in your wrath, but do not chasten me by your wrath or with your wrath, by your wrath. I'll put by, seems to fit better for me with right now. So it might be with later. Now, whatever has happened here, this here is separate, because here he's talking about reject and discipline. And here I've got it separated as YV as the introduction as one verse. Do not reject me in your wrath, nor discipline me by your anger. Do not discipline me by your wrath. But this is going to get a period down here because it's changing the subjects now. Be gracious. Okay, this is, oh, he wants our Creator to be gracious. Be gracious to me, YV. For I am pining away. Now, when you see this color words pop up in the text, the New American Standard added over, I think, right around 10,000 words in the 1977 Bible. And every time they come out with another edition, they're adding more. So don't tell me every word in the Bible is true in any of them. Okay? You've seen the intro. I know you can't explain that. Gregory is divine. Try that one. That's who's editing who edited or translated your text for you in English. For I am pining away. Pining away. Now this is when I go look in the text, and I've done this so many times that this pining away is two words. Okay? And they're only using it just this one time, are these two words actually existing in all the Hebrew text, and I don't believe that. Okay? I am wasting away. Now, pining away, to me, if you ever seen the trees rot, pine trees rot very quickly. Okay? So I'm thinking that's what happened in Israel as well. So I'm thinking pining away means wasting away. I am wasting away. Be gracious to me, for I am getting older. I'll tell you what, I'm going to underline it and move on. Heal me, for my bones are dismayed. Let's go take a look at dismayed, and we're going to see it there, and I see it over here, so it's over here as well. So in these two instances, they're going to use dismayed. So eager, hurry, yeah, I said tremble. Let's see. Heal me, YV, for my bones are, not hurry, are, my bones are trembling. Your bones, so how would he heal? Maybe the word heal needs some work here. Healer, well, that seems to be the text here. Heal me, YV, for my bones are not dismayed. They got to be trembling. For my bones are trembling. And if you've never had your bones tremble, yes, they do. That you would, I've had that experience where they just start moving, okay? And your hip joints just go slack where you're going to fall next. So I'm well aware of the word trembling of the bones. Heal me, YV, for my bones are trembling, and my soul is greatly... Now that is, my bones are greatly, or my soul is greatly disturbed. I'm going to put disturbed here, and my soul is disturbed. I don't know if I need... I'm not sure if I need the word greatly. I could get rid of that just because my soul is disturbed. But you, YV, how long? Well, that's kind of odd because when my bones are trembling, comma, these two verses go together. Okay? When it says how long, what does this mean here? How long? Well, look at here. I have 3 words, and they're using 2. They're saying add this is the word long, and they're going to use how long. But they found it 26 times. But if how long could be when will you? Okay, when, it could change to be when. YV, when will you return? But you, YV, how long? This makes no sense when I'm reading it as try to return and rescue my soul. And rescue. Return, not rescue. It would be redeem. So maybe it needs help there. My bones are trembling and my soul is disturbed. When will you return, YV? I'm just seeing that this is connecting here, and this I would not need, and this would be when, and I'm going to hyphen them just to show that they were 2 together. When will you return? And this I'm just changing so it goes like that. When will you return, YV? And now these two do connect together. Save me because you're save me because of your love for me. This is almost like this goes here and this goes up in here. When will you return, YV, and rescue me to save me? Because okay, now the thing about the writers they didn't have a belief in a soul as the way we do. Our Creator teaches us that He is the maker of everything, and He made your soul so no one can kill your soul. That way you have a likeness with our Creator and shall always live. So to rescue your soul is wrong. But to rescue and save me, if this would be a plea, say by David, I can understand that he's wanting to be rescued in time of battle. And rescue, I guess rescue me would be me, M-E, and save me. Return, YV. When will you return, YV? When will you, YV, rescue me? I'm trying to trap up the verse to see if it goes one way or the other, and I'm still not seeing it that way. I'm seeing it like the one I've got cut. When will you return, YV, and rescue me to save me? And then this was added to save me because of your love kindness for me. Now this could be a 3 verse because it does kind of make sense. Most of the time when 3 verses are happening, the first sentence by most of the writers is the statement, and these two refortify the statement or become the what he's going to talk about in 2 verses. So when will you return, period, and rescue to save me, comma, because of your love for me. Now, the way I have it edited with the word me, this sounds like it could be King David, or it could have been somebody else in battle, okay? A righteous male in battle. So, when will you return, YV? Rescue to save me because of your love for me. I don't know. There is no mention of you in death. There is no mention. Because of your love for me. For there is no mention of you in Sheol. Sheol is the abyss. And the abyss is when our Creator tells Cain that Abel is crying from the ground. You got to remember, they thought of the space where the bird fly as a heaven. The star's motion is the second heaven. And this motion with the North Star is the peak of the mountain. And only in a New American Standard Bible does it say that it uses the words in the far north. All the other Bibles do not say that. But the New American Standard has it right, because we know that, because when you look at that sentence, understand that, and then our Creator lives above the mountain, or above Mount Zion is what it says. And that's heaven. Then we know where Moses looked to raise his staff, because it says he looked to heaven. So he faced the North Star, raised his staff, and talked to our Creator who is in heaven above the North Star. Jesus looked to heaven and asked for a blessing to feed the people. So very visual understanding once you know where heaven is at. If you read in any other Bible, you don't know that answer. Just remember, the Greeks called that Mount Olympus, and the gods lived above there. So, to save me because of your love kindness for me, there is no mention. There is no mention of you. For in death, I'm just going to put some words here, trying to figure out what's going on. For in death, in the abyss, who will give you thanks? There is no mention of you. Okay, comma. That's the beginning subject we have to understand. For in death, in the abyss. Oops. For in death, in the abyss, who will give you thanks? Now that's kind of an odd statement, because I guess it's a comparing of the closeness he has with our Creator here on earth, to be able to look to his heaven and talk to our Creator. And since our Creator said this abyss is in the ground, that's a blockage from seeing everything, but they thought another heaven named the abyss existed down there. Actually, it's another dimension of time and space, and in the video descriptions here on YouTube, you can look in there and see how males can now visit the abyss. So any of you atheists out there, you have no choice now of knowing that you're going to live forever. It's now your decision whether to actually have a belief that our Creator exists. So who will give you thanks? This understanding tells me this writing is very old. It might be before David's time. I am weary with my sighing for every night. Now this is almost a 4 verse, because I'm seeing these 4 are connecting. But I have the words sighing and night. I make my bed swim. I dissolve the couch with my tears. But if this is the statement for every night, you can't make your bed swim. So that's just an outright lie, and you can't do the make part. So now if I have this, I dissolve my couch. If it's bed, then all this, you can't dissolve that. So every night on my bed, I cry. It's coming down to I cry. Tears are crying. If I thought shed tears would be there, I cry. Let me see if cry shows up here. Nope. Again, just this word 23 times. So maybe it was the right word, cry. Every night on my bed, I cry. I am weary from my sighing. For every night on my bed, I cry out to you. So and this is kind of going with the text that we have above, okay? But now it's a 3 verse, and this is the statement. These two are hooked together. Okay. My eyes wasted away. By grieving, I have become old. With grieving, I don't like the word become old. With grief, like he's carrying it with him, I have become older. With my grief, I have become older. I don't like that, but yet. But anyways, my eyes are dimming. Their vision without glasses. My eyes have gotten dimmer. With grief I become old because of my adversaries. Now let's see here. If I'm staying true to it, these two need to hook together. With grief, it just seems that I still want to put the letter I here. Get rid of this and say, okay, oops. Yeah, I'm replacing the it with I. My eyes, I'm going to put have up here. It just, because has is past tense, and have is kind of like okay, this is what's happened to me. My eyes have but it's speaking of oldness, so okay. But my eyes have gotten dimmer. I think that's now to explain why they're getting dimmer. We have these next 2 verses. My eyes have gotten dimmer, and with grief I become older. With grief I became older because of, you don't need all, because of my adversaries. Now, adversaries, are they the enemy here? Let's see, adversaries. Could be enemies once, enemy 3 times, distress only once. Now, wasted away, yeah, just 3 times these words are used together. Maybe I can find that. Now, if I had more people here, and I'd be slowing this down, and I would search, because the Bible, I can do a Bible search real quick, and we can go find them. Let me do that, just to show you the power of this program. and that isn't what I wanted to do. I gotta hook up my television monitor and stick it above this so I can actually see what I'm doing here. I want to set that. Say okay, view it. Now if I click those two words, and we're going to look for this eashoo, and I can go over here and say, now these are the verses that they're in, so I'll just say view them. And the first one is in Psalm 6. We're right here. And then and that's what we're starting with. So let me see where these other, there's another one that it is. Let's see, be gracious, my eyes are getting dimmer from grief. That's Psalms 31. We're going to have almost like text. Here is the other one. Okay. This is going to be 32. And this is those two words. My body is wasting away. Okay, I can see. Okay. So actually, I think we could change all these other ones with it as saying my body has, I got dimmer with my eyes. My body has aged. So, but that's 31. I got to get back here to 7. My eyes have, yep. Okay, just to show you the power of this little program here. My eyes have gotten dimmer, and with grief, I want to put the word and. It just seems to me that I want to read it that way. So let me put it in there. My eyes have gotten dimmer, and with grief, I have become older. This here is almost like the statement. It should be on top. Because of my adversaries or enemies, my eyes have gotten dimmer, and with grief, I have become older. So, because those three hook together, and I can't do that. Depart from me, all the, I'm going to move this verse here from, make it an 8 point, and then up here, I'm going to place it here. And then what was the shortcut I tried to make? F. Whoops. Move up 2 verses. Then here, moved 2 here. Okay. And then that way, it's noted what I've done. Because of my enemy, because the adversary was enemy a couple times, but it could be distress. The hell is he replaying up here? He's talking about others. He's talking about others not being able to, not wanting to call upon our Creator. And every night in my bed, I cried out to you, I cry out to you, because of all my adversaries, because of all my, I'm going to put enemies. There's more than one here. It's a lifetime. And being it's a lifetime, it could be David. Because of all my enemies, my eyes have gotten dimmer, and with grief I have become older. I think that's the proper style of the writer, because that's the way it is hooked here and here and here. So what I've done is I've done enough that I think I should take this all up here and take it down and just show you what it looks like cleaning up the text. By removing all those words, it will actually become better and easier to read. Let me see, it's this one here, and I want to say font 8, and I want to remove it, but I want to remove it downward. Replace all, not going upwards. And then, because there's going to be a lot of double spacing, 2 of them to 1 of them, down from here, only 3 times. Well, 4th time, that should be enough then. Close this. To stay with 3, that's what it would be, YV. And then I'm thinking that's the period. And this would be the comma here. I don't have anything here. But now the yellow word, these I can get rid of. Not showing any of this, because it shows up as italic. Boy, I'm getting stuck today. Oops, that was the text. I didn't want the text. Text needs to be this. It needs to be that. Just too many buttons for me to click here. I found by doing these live that it's a little rough sometimes. And I'm going to leave the notes, except for this note. Don't need that. I'll leave this here just as a reminder. But now if I fill these gaps in, you can see I've got a 3-verse going here. Here's 3, here's 3, here's 3. Now that isn't all that hard to find. So if you decide to actually catch up in the computer world and stop using your Bible, put it on the computer, and you can really do some editing on the text as our Creator. As you get closer and keep obeying Him more and more, He will correct the text more and more. I am still learning. Our Creator is still teaching me. And I think forever that's going to happen. But a good example is I've done these already, and I know that when I look at the other ones that I've done, maybe 85% of it is the same, but there has been some changes that, because these little, I don't think this word needs to, that isn't a big enough word to change. These are big words. This isn't so big of a deal here. Come on, double click. Okay, so I've got the major words that I've arranged differently. But now, I've told you before, when you're read tasting these are small paragraphs. And the style we have found, and then I want to just make sure that all these periods, commas, okay. Those are the same. And I'll move this out. I better save this before I have a power outage and got to go back and it skips on me. These will group together. I am weary every night because of my enemies. So these two seem to be connecting. And this will put a double space. Let's see if these two connect together. When will you return? There is no mention of you. Rescue and save me in the abyss. Because of your love for me, there's no thanks for you. See how it's kind of like you can read this verse and this verse, and then this verse and this verse, and this verse and this verse, and they do hook together to make a paragraph. You know, they didn't have television. They didn't have computers. What was new to them was language. And you work in language as a specialist. Remember, the scribes, these guys are practicing their writing every day, like hours and hours, okay? And just look at how well these words are formed. They look like poetry to begin with, but the more you look into them, these could be these are a psalm, and this is another psalm, and together these are psalms. So, YV, do not reject me in your anger, nor discipline me with your wrath. Be gracious to me, YV, for I am... Now I got down here, gotten dimmer, become older. I was just going to say become older would go up here. I am pining away. Heal me, meaning I am getting sicker. Be gracious to me, YV, for I am pining away. Heal me, YV. No. This could go together, and these would be going out, because I'm having a trouble with this. This is just not, this is, heal me, YV, my bones are trembling and my soul is disturbed. Heal me. Gotta take a look. I'm just curious. Heal me. So much for that. Okay. Heal me, YV, for my bones are trembling and my soul is disturbed. And I can't think of a better word, but right now, heal me. Maybe that's how they spake long ago. So, reject me in your anger, nor discipline me with your wrath. Heal me, YV, for my bones are trembling and my soul's disturbed. These two are hooking together. So actually, yes, I can get rid of this and say, oops, I need a 6 point. And then I'll just put like that. And there I'm seeing, oops, I think we have the very nice beginning of how this writer is writing. Now, when you've seen what I started with, It wasn't that hard to find these. The other thing is that they make more sense now and they're reading as a group. You aren't having to go back and forth in the text trying to figure out what's going on. Excuse me a second, I gotta really itch my eyeball here. Okay, I'm back. I forgot to shut the mic off, but I don't know if I said anything bad. So I can move this text back up here just because I know what's going on there now. Okay, now this is what I gotta clean up. So depart from me, all of you, all of you who do iniquity. A supplication is actually a petition. They pretty much are asking from our Creator. Where a prayer here is, the word pray is in the Hebrew language, not the secular dictionary that you're going to try to point to, but the word pray is the act or your stance. Are you spreading your hands out? Are you kneeling? Are you holding your hands together in a way to say that you're showing how you show respect to our Creator when you're talking to Him? And when you're talking to Him, that it becomes your prayer. When you're petitioning Him, you're asking Him for something. So this needs just to be, because they have both words, supplication. Let me show you here. Maybe they've done that here. Oh, I'm down in the next group here. Supplication. See, they use the word petition as well. When I made a choice, I made the word petition, not supplication. But that's why I do that, to keep one word meaning what it means throughout all the text. It's bad enough we have the word left, and it means 3 different things. So, or at least 2. YB, hears my petitions and receives my prayer. And receives my prayers. Because He just didn't do it once. I don't think. Do you do it only once? Man. Now this eyeball. I've always heard my petitions and received my prayers. And this would be to keep with 3. YV Not seeing the word for here. YV, not has, but YV heard. That kind of means has, with the D on the end. YV heard my voice and weeping. For YV has heard my, and he has heard. I like that. I think I can take his name out because we know who he is. He doesn't, and he has heard. And he has heard my petitions and received my prayers. That's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All my enemies will be ashamed and greatly dismayed. They will turn back and suddenly be ashamed. Well, I don't know if I even need these words here. Be greatly, okay, anyways. Let me see, where'd I leave off down here? Becoming older. So, oh, right here. I should have left a bigger gap here. But I took this verse and stuck it there to make it right. Now, how is this hooking? Because if these two hook together, then I really truly do not need this. And if I needed this to hook with this because it doesn't really hook here, then I have a missing sentence above or below. So it's just not easy to say, just get rid of text to get rid of text. I'm not doing that. I like to have the first writer's words appearing. And you can see they are starting to appear here. And then I'll explain more as I go along, but right now I'm looking at this is connecting. That's a good paragraph. Not all, but don't need the word all. My enemies will be ashamed. Period. They will be dismayed and suddenly be ashamed. And I don't need this turned back because dismayed and suddenly ashamed, those connect. And 3 verse. And then this is just hanging out there. This, I'm going to just get rid of these. Okay. Take these down here. And go 1, 2, put that here. And then clean it up. It's going to be a little bit here, so give you time to read over and keep. I forgot to do that macro today. I have been so busy. A lot of things happened here in the last couple days. Computer problems, people, family, car problems. For the first time, I'm 67 years old, and the first time in my driving years, my car tire belt slipped inside and going down the road, and my steering wheel starts to vibrate. And then because I had to go pick him up from the airport, bring back and forth, I put like 200 miles on my car at 55 to 7 miles an hour. boy, was that car shaking today as I took it in to and get it worked on, and I thought it just needed balancing, but they said the belt slipped. So yeah, 70 miles, it really showed up there. And then I'm going to say, yeah, this is the editing here that I'm going to say, let me take all this down and now clean it up and see what, and now read this. Oops, ran out of this here spacing. Because when it gets done, I record these, and then everybody can look at them. And sometimes I let them be free to you guys do whichever you want with it, because I believe by doing a lot of what as I show my editing, I can't give you the actual text. But when I start editing and cleaning it up, I know I've had a copyright lawyer. I own the copyrights to the Old Testament from the New American Standard word for word, because there's a loophole in the law that says if you can write it in a different style. When I did that back in 1995, all the Bibles all of a sudden got the word, because I had to send a letter to the lawyers at New American Standard Concordance. They're in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And they sent me back letters. They looked it over and they kind of like, we can't charge you. They're yours. Okay, so I'm registered in a copy of Library of Congress as the owner of formats. And over the last 20, 30 years, I've refined them and refined them and refined them. So I'm refining them again here before you. So those were together, those were together, those were together, those were together. I can get rid of this, and I can get rid of this. And I'll shrink the text down to put it all on the screen. It does get smaller, whoops, but it lets you read the whole thing. It needs one more shrinkage. Nope, on your screen, I have a little bit of area that I've got blocked out. And that's because I throw up so many different things up on the screen to show you that they all don't have the same thing at the top. So, that said, I can get rid of these numbers now. They don't really mean anything anymore. They're useless. And gee, where's the time at? 1 hour to go through, what, 10 verses? That was actually pretty quick. That was quick this time. So, other than that, I just want to look over. Yeah, I think the 3 verse is more sophisticated. Some of you might even find a 2 verse here, and then because I did it in a 2 verse as well, but I got 3 involved. But yeah, I think. Oh, I have noted that. No, I did it different here. Because I was going to say there's a missing Hebrew word in the text. Let me see. What verse was that? 3. Now, what did I... Oh, I did mention it to you. I mentioned to you here that there's this word, and this word. And they only have 2 words here. So, that word and that word, but not this word. So what I did was I took this word and moved it down a verse and used it in here. But I will start on 7 now. It needs a little bit of prep to be brought over, but I'm going to do that right now because I'm going to be here a while. I'm going to try to figure out when to stream and when not to stream. I forgot yesterday was Sunday. When you retire, and I've been retired for 17 years, I don't know what day is what day. I just don't. The only day I'm worried about is Thursday, because that's our Creator's calendar. And on the 12 Commandments, He says, make His holy day a day of rest. And it's the first day of the year, starting with the Hebrew calendar. And the Hebrew calendar starts at the summer solstice, which is like the 21st. So I got to look up what day that is and then adjust my life. So like Jesus, He obeyed all the laws our Creator did, so am I to do so. The more I do, the more our Creator allows me true truths to reveal to you. Let's see, 7. Okay. All right. Oh, this is going to be a long one. This one's 17 verses. So, because what I'm doing here in this document, I am saying these are the ones I'm streaming, so they have my words to tell me what's going on. And like I've already replaced a lot of these words, like the title Lord, and put in YV when He's there. And I've got a lot with the word God now, the title God. And over here is Elohim. In verse 3, there's God. And then down in 9, there is God here. And that is Elohim. God is here, Elohim. God is here. That's El. And then God here, Elohim. So, Elohim, what I've done there, let's see here, and that didn't work out right. Oh, I closed it, so maybe I've got to, let's see, bring this one up. Maybe I don't have to close them for these to next one's work. Let me just see something here. Nope, they aren't working. I tried this yesterday and it didn't work, but it works without all these other programs running. So there's some key that's allowing these I have a tablet. And on here I have a lot of cheat sheets on here that I can tap on things and bring up. And as many as you've seen there, I can't use. I have to come over here and click on them. But I am also used to that, so it just means I wasted about 10 hours doing this one. But here is why I went and searched all the verses, 2,325 verses. Yes, that Bible program allows me to gather them all up. And back in the day, I printed them all out. I went through, when people talk about how much printer ink, and back in that day, ink cartridges, just the black ink, was $20. And the reams of paper, I bought them by the box of 10. And I probably bought 50 boxes in my lifetime. When I started finding out what I could do with this program, you talk about a thirst for knowledge. I was printing this stuff out, I'd do that, and then I'd throw it out, and I'd print it out again, and throw it out, and print it out. And once I did, I had a filing cabinet and categorized them. So I've thrown all that away because it's all become knowledge now. That's I'm wasting my time going and getting that piece of paper. But for example, here's a real quick story. When notebook computers first came out with a 2x CD-ROM reader, I bought one. It was a Toshiba. And when I brought it into work, everybody freaked out. You spent $5,000? Because they were very expensive at that time. And when I told them, I think I only paid $2,400 for it. And they said, where'd you do that? Well, they used to give out a great big thick book about that. It's like a catalog of everybody trying to sell you computer parts. All of a sudden, it was the only book you could get. I wish I would have saved one of them. It would have been a great historical archiving of them. But in there, in all the little ads, I went through all of them and found Toshiba. It was a new startup company. So they wanted to break in. They had to bring it down cheaper to draw attention. I brought it in, and when I showed up, they said, what are you going to do that for? And I said, because of this Bible program. And they said, what? I said, this Bible program, all the little modules that go into it, I paid, I think, $900 or $700 for the first time, or the second time I paid $700 for it because the computers crash. You lose things back then. But the thing here is I did. And so they said, what are you going to, you got almost $4,000 in a notebook computer, and it's only a 9-inch diagonal screen, and you paid $500 just to be color so I could see the color text in the maps where it would be in color for me? I says, yep. And then when I started showing them what I could do with it, they all kind of like, oh man, I wish I had that. Because I was really starting to explain a lot of things in the text. And I had a draftsman come over. He heard through one of the guys. I worked in an engineering where you had engineers. I think we had 1,300 at the time that I'm talking about. Maybe only 200 skilled tradesmen at that time, and that was one of me. And then, or I was one of them. And then there would be your draftsmen. I think there was about 100 of them. And then you had a lot of other salary people making things happen, helping out and stuff. Anyways, this draftsman come over and he starts seeing the program and he's loving it. And I told him, I'll give you a copy of it because in that day, that's what you did. You give each other software to help each other out. It was really expensive back then. And he told me he had done like 5 years of Hebrew, or 7 years. Yeah, he studied Hebrew for 7 years, and he was going to do 5 years in the Greek, and he was in his 3rd year of the Greek. And then he challenged me as to, because I think I was explaining to him why the word, our title God was not correct because of this study. And he says, well, just in Revelation, there's 34 4 names for our Creator, or titles for our Creator. And I looked at him, I said, I've done that, and there's more than that. He says, prove it. So I said, stop by tomorrow. I went home, grabbed my study, and I says, yeah, there's 39 that I've got here. And I took them in, and they're all listed out in every verse, and give it to him, and he looked them over, and he says, I don't believe this. I says, what? He says, my teacher has been bragging to me that he's been teaching for 20-some years, and he got his notes passed down from a guy that taught for 40 years, and he got notes passed down to him from another guy that might have taught for 30, 35 years. So there's this history of like 100 years of all teaching. There's only so many titles and revelation, and that's when he took it in, and all of a sudden everybody was in the computer world. Everybody had to go buy computers. The text was too easy to search, too easy to pull out and print, pick out verses. But he automatically went and spent whatever money it needed to make sure that the program ran for him at home. So some of us were very thirsty back then, and I'm still using the same piece of paper that I did, or this same thing. This has got to be from 88, 89, something like that. And I've called the company here about 4 years ago, and they don't even know that this program existed. It's under a different ownership. And I told them, I said, go look for it if you got it in your history, because this is the most dangerous program you've ever seen. So it gives me the right easily to change a lot of words that could have been used that they would have used. So you can excuse me on them. But then there are some that you've seen that I had to do a little bit better. Now, the word Elohim, as you can see, I went through all these. I did. Printed them all out. Read every one of them. And I kept making notes of what does this title should be, Creator. And then I found out by saying our Creator, the text become more personal. Not just God, but our Creator. And then when I started all over, when I realized that it's our Creator, I started all over again, went through every verse. In the beginning, our Creator created, in the spirit of our Creator. And then our Creator said. Then I realized here, there's doing so many creation that the title has to be Creator. Okay? So I think out of all those 2,325 verses, I think there's less than 20 where it really doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense because it's next to other capital letter gods, like God, all letter, and then so it was kind of confusing, but it was kind of like, okay, they really had to try and bend the words on these verses. I wish I would have kept them, but I didn't. Now, the other name was Elohim, or no, El. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that up and show you here. And that here is pretty much showing the Hebrew numbers, although 12 is missing if you notice here. Now, I don't know if he combined it or not, because when you look at this L, there's only the words used 8 times. So I don't know why he didn't combine it or whatever, but the object is over here in these little areas. I put everything up in here and then pointed. This L is represented as this, and then this L, although it says 9 times, I only see it listed as 8. Okay, except for you'll find it as a man's name or whatever here, like God whatever. So people were gods back then, and they still have El whoever. But then you'll see all these words in here, and you kind of were wondering, how can the title for God here be used 200 times, and then even when it's mentioned together like El, it's meaning mighty one. So the thing here is how did it become all these other words here? So I don't understand all this. All I know is that they're using one word here and they divide it for all the meanings, and yet they still needed helpless and mighty, power and strong. And yet every one of them else is pretty much, well, there's like another God comparing to our God. You'd use our God as a capital G and their God as a little g, things like that. So that's how the title you would think L would be, but it's not when you come to this other one and it's 13 and it's got all these different words. They could have grouped those 9 with this group here. They really could have. But I don't understand something about how where the word come from. But here, if or they're saying prime root God, prime root pronoun, these, like God's, these type of thing. Anyways, that's, so when I'm editing the text here, let me just make that down. Maybe this thing will work. Let me just, what was it? Nope, didn't come up. Oh, that just means my memory's got to get better. But here, you just need creator put here. And now you understand why I use the title creator. And I get rid of their word God, because why be my creator, not why be my God. Have somebody explain that, Lord my God, and then actually understand that you can't say our creator's name is God because this one has his name and then it calls him God. So, but let's see, that one was in 11, so I still got that bookmarked. And it was the second one, not the first one. Okay, so I'll leave the word God, and I don't see any more here. All right, now time to blow the text up. And like I said, the words here in a parentheses is text that they found from other manuscripts. I found that they aren't needed. They don't become part of the format. They just don't do it justice. So I say they need to be thrown out. They added too much text, and you can see, I guess, what I just did. Now, here's all the editing and changing, and the blue is what I'm getting rid of. I mean, like I swim and dissolve my couch, and I make. I mean, that person actually is putting that text in, thinking you're supposed to read it and believe it. So the only thing is what's going on here, like, but you, YV, how long? I mean, the word win, how long could mean, is like the word win. So why did they need to do that? Greatly dismayed. Your soul is greatly dismayed. The thing here is they didn't understand what the word soul is. Our soul, according to, let's see, what's her name? Oh, man. Who is Samuel's mother? Man, I can't remember. Oh, it's sad. I'm trying to remember 10,000 things and get that out. I would know it. I'll probably, if I want to start talking about her. At Eli's time, there's a male who has 2 wives. But you have to understand that if a brother dies and leaves no son to carry on in his place, and then and then the promised land to keep descendant on kept going, our Creator gave them a law that said that this woman is not supposed to just run away and be gone. She's still part of your family. So one of the other brothers is to marry with her until she has a son. And then they divide and she goes back to her husband who's passed away, his land. And she is going to approach Eli, and she's making a vow. Now, a vow is a promise between the person making it to our Creator. It's not our Creator it's the personal vowing that I will do this. It's very important. When she made a vow to our Creator, she asked for a soul, a male soul. And why did she do that? It's the understanding of conception. At that time, and all the way up until maybe even the 1800s, that a male seed is visible, a female seed is not. So they thought that first the male seed is received by the female, and then a soul is sent from our Creator to make conception happen. And this is why she was asking for a male soul. And then she was going to say, I'm going to give him to you to be raised by your high priests, or your higher priests. Higher priest means they worked within the courtyard. There was other priests or would name themselves as priests, and they would be the ones that would be like teaching in the synagogue with the scribes. The Levites created themselves these jobs. So you have to find out that the priests, they weren't high priests. And then of the high priest, there was a higher priest, the number one. And then later, when he retired at the age of 50, even at Eli's time to Joshua's time, after the promised land is set up, there's 300 years missing, but they were all judges. And the highest priest, when he retired, became the judge for all of them. He is the most knowledgeable of all the laws and commandments and understanding of the years going by. And anyways, that's how the judges were. But Samuel was born because that was the idea that the seed from a male and a soul from our Creator cause conception. Once you understand that, then you understand. Well, I guess I don't want to get into that, but now you got to peel away these couple thousand years back, and specifically, still can't remember her name. Anyway. She is very important because out of all the verses that I can go through, she is the one that she's vowing to our Creator to give me a male. So that's when I realized that in that verse that is how they thought conception happened. But here you can see that all this text is not really needed, and it becomes in changing to be truthful or more truthful than some words just cleaned up. Let's take a look at them here. Petitions was just like I showed you. It was just another word. Enemies was another word. Gotten dimmer. Yeah, I did change those, but I did show you by the 6 times that it was used, those words would have fit again, and it would have been gotten older in the other 2, I think. Cry out instead of tears. I don't think that's a far reach of correcting it. Now, I know that the abyss might be something that you're not aware of that I've taught you, then yes, then it's kind of like, okay, that word should be okay. I think there was one word "when" in the text that they could have used. I used instead of that. There are 2 words, and that was how long. I put "when," same difference. Disturbed and trembling. These were both the words dismay. Now these 2 might be where you would complain that dismay, my bones are dismayed, my soul's dismayed. I think you like these words here better. So out of everything, even these 2, I don't think is bad. Reject from, like I said, just making a simpler word than for those who are 12 years old. And discipline me, I think this might be one of the only words out of all these here. But when you see this done like this, and you see how beautiful it actually is written, that's what I'm here proving anyone can do, except for some of the fine tuning, like the list right up above here says. I do a lot of talking here. Oh, I've never seen that little thing pop up. It says the delay now is 9 seconds. After an hour and a half of streaming, it went from maybe a second or 2 to now 9 seconds. I didn't know that popped up because I know that I streamed a couple times, maybe 7 hours when I was checking, and both times it was like a 20-minute delay by the time I got to 7 hours. Okay, now let me go look for verses. Why be my creator? In you I have taken refuge. Save me from all those who pursue me, and deliver me, lest he tear my soul, and like a lion drag me away. See, now the soul, how can that be? A soul is, once you males actually decide to watch that video in the description below, Afterlife, or you can actually witness the abyss and speak to those that have died from this earth, and they'll tell you that they're gods. They become gods. That's how special they are now. And you can only do this when you're in your soul, with the knowledge of your soul. It's awfully hard to see your soul. You can't just stick out your hand and say, "Oh, let me look." That's kind of hard to do out there. Believe me, I've been out there many times. So, lest he tear my soul like a lion dragging me away. Yeah, I think I need to leave the word away here. Well, there is none to deliver. I think I just need the word me. I think that's, whoops. Me. It's an easy add. Why be my creator? If I have done this, if there is injustice in my hands or by my hands, if I rewarded evil to my friend, or if I plundered him, without cause, who without cause was my enemy, let my enemy pursue my soul. Oh, I didn't date the last one. I tried, yeah, let me go back here. I missed the fun part of doing this one here. This, when was this written? Okay. Now my mind is really going to start working here, all right? Why do not reject me in your anger, nor discipline me by your wrath. Heal me, Ivy, for my bones are trembling and my soul is disturbed. When will you return, Ivy, and rescue me to save me because of your love for me? Now I need to where's my king's timeline here? There it is. We have to talk about the kings. Now, this side is Judah. This side is Israel. Okay, right up here at the top. And these are the 10 tribes, and these are Judah and Simon. Now, this goes good king. Anything with a capital, any name with a capital first were good kings. So the people were pretty much obedient under him, or these guys. Over here, the first guy right out the gates, he builds an altar in Bethel. So all you people that have a church named Bethel, just think you're in a pagan church. Okay? For example, that's what he did. He went to Damascus, or whoever was up in that city, and brought back and made a replica of that altar and started sacrificing animals on that altar to a foreign god. Okay? And he tried making that the capital city, like Israel is the capital city. But when our Creator divided, he was jealous that all the people are now going to leave and go down to Jerusalem. So this is why he did this. So these guys have the little letter. They didn't obey him. Okay? This guy loses East Manasseh, and that is closest to Damascus. He made Samaria, and he's the second capital. And I can't say that these were actually kings now, because if these guys are good and these guys aren't, then out of the 300 years that I've got here, right here, that were judges from Joshua to Eli, because when Eli was a judge before Samuel was the very last judge, and he appointed Saul as their first king, then, because I don't know how many years this was, did it happen at this time? Do we have actually text from this time when they were, because, example, when Eli was here, they're already separated. They're already separated as Judah and Simon against the other 10. Okay? These two were very obedient to our Creator, these two tribes. These others, they weren't so much. Because when you look at the first battle of Saul, the people weren't really gathering to their king yet. So they were doing whatever they want to do. Eli's sons, they were so corrupt as priests that they decided to take the chest with the 10 commandments out of his holy meeting room and carry it into war for a battle, to say that this will give us strength. They took the 12 commandments out, and let me show you where this battle took place. Here they're at Shiloh, okay, where this is my best guess, because when they entered, the first battle was Jericho, and then our Creator pretty much set up a tent here, or that would have been the battle, and then Joshua, he went down here and he conquered this area first, and then went upwards and conquered all the way. So let me see. Just, where's Joshua? Yeah, here. This is the path afterwards Joshua went, and I don't have it down here. I got like 70 maps, so I probably got it cut in half, because the text that I've got already done on my website, I've got pictures showing when the text is mentioning things. And then he went through here all the way up, and this becomes the promised land, okay? So, but now, like I said, the tribes are scattered. So now what's happened is, out of here, these two corrupt priests, which are Eli's sons, they take it into battle. They're over here fighting Dan, because the Philistines, or Palestine is the name, but they're Philistines. They had come back and started conquering. Joshua got rid of them. They come back. The story, we don't have the exact text of all this. Like I said, there's 300 years missing. I believe it's 300. I give them like 150 years easily, because they just got done witnessing our Creator and their children as they're growing up. By the time they're aging and they're witnessing their children, it's like the third generation after that they start not believing again, or having a strong obedience to our Creator. So what they did was they took the chest all the way down to here, which is their capital city. Now, actually, that they're calling this was, if you look at the maps, there's still these three cities. I think there's these three. They're still there as ruins. And you'll see that this is the biggest one. So this means this has to be their capital, not this one. And then when they had the problem with the chest, but they took it back. But this is the land, how it starts out as, see how this is not really Judah anymore as Judah and Simon. They're still together, but they've lost a lot of land. And up here, these other guys have fallen apart, to where Saul here is going to be living in Bethel, and he's king. So Bethel is the first capital here before Jerusalem is created. And David established Jerusalem as the capital. Well, our Creator stopped him. And then David built a city around where our Creator had stopped. But that said, when I'm reading here, when will you return and rescue to save me? So, and here, enemies will be ashamed. There's not enough text here to actually definitively say it. I can guess at, in the 300 years is where my first guess would be. My second guess would be at a different time. That's all I can think of. That's why I'm saying the best time for something like this would have been when it was corrupt, when the priests weren't all together, priests, the good priests, and then after David's time, they all got corrected. Uh, they all fell back in line, and that's what's so great about David. People might not know this, but he's the one that brought everybody back under our Creator, and he was king. After he killed Goliath, everybody knew something was up. It was a big sign our Creator was working through this young kid. So, and I guess I should have even capitalized. Whoops. Capitalized. And capitalized. But the enemies will be ashamed. Yep, I can't date it. I'm gonna have to just put 300 years as my best. Okay. I forgot about that dating of it, so now let me get back to the text here. And I'm just looking for verses right now. And let my enemy pursue my soul and overtake it. Now our soul's an it. And let him trample my life down to the ground and lay my glory in the dust. This writer doesn't understand how the word glory is used by the righteous Hebrews, and the righteous Hebrews, such as Abraham and Noah, they put our Creator first. That's why they were righteous. And then their glory was to be able to speak about our Creator. So when it's called my glory in the dust, it makes no sense. Rise, YV. Arise, YV. In your anger, lift yourself against the rage of my adversary. Sometimes, arouse yourself for me. You has appointed judgment. And let the assembly of the people encompass you and watch over them, return you on high. Assembly, encompass. The word encompass is very key for you to understand the usage of that word and what that word means. In the Sinai, when our Creator was leading the people, he had them camp around his tent for meeting a certain way. The three firstborn sons were on the south side. Then it's hard to tell whether the next three were on the east or west side. But and the other three were on the north side. Now, that's very important because in the Sinai, the second year when they were celebrating his passing over, our Creator gave them a new law. The first day of the first year was the day that he passed over their sons, and he told them, that is your holy day, okay? No work. In the second year in the Sinai, he said 7 more days. So there's 8 days of celebration. So when you're reading about Jesus there and all the multitudes were around Jerusalem, and the word multitude would mean that these tribes were encamping around Jerusalem from way back at the time when our Creator told them, this is the way I want you to assemble around wherever my presence exists among you, which was by tent for meeting with him or his house for meeting with him. It is never to be called a temple. A temple is a pagan place where they put a false idol in, a false god idol, and that is a temple. Hebrew people understood the difference. The presence of our Creator, the priest went in and asked for the atonement to forgive that person, that male, or what that male's family had done against our Creator, forgiveness, so they can stay in the nation and still have the promise that other promises would become later. And that's why they get to enter into heaven, because they remained, they were being forgiven. But this encompass around him, that tells me that here, when it's used the word return right now, it's telling me that they have stopped doing this. YV judges the people. See, now this is, then it's the judges' time, these years that are missing that I was telling you about. That's the assumption of what I'm going by right here. They assembled to encompass him, and over them return you on high, meaning that they're supposed to come back and make sure that they are now unto him again, and he is above everyone. Okay, just to let you know what these words mean. The YV, that doesn't make sense. The Lord, that would, but we don't need titles no more. YV judges our people. Our people. Vindicate. I want to say, and this is just because I'm seeing that that's just laying out there. It doesn't, something's not right here, there. Why be according to my righteousness? And I have explained righteousness, and my integrity that is within me, my obedience that is within me. Let the evil of the wicked come to an end, but establish the righteous. There tries the hearts and minds. My shield is with my Creator, who saves the upright heart. My Creator is a righteous judge and a God who has indignation every day. Well, that, and a God who has indignation every day, I think that's going to be gone. Okay, that's out of place. If man, not a man, that means singular. That's a secular word, man. Now let's, if man, that means male or female. Our Creator defined the word man by saying, I created man, male and female. If man does not repent, He will sharpen his sword. He has bent his bow and made it ready. That's an odd way of saying our Creator. He will sharpen his sword and bend his bow and make it ready. He has also prepared for himself deadly weapons and makes his arrows fiery shafts. Behold, he travails with wickedness and conceives mischief and brings forth falsehood. He has dug a pit, hollowed and dig a pit is two different, and hollowed out has fallen into, and he has dug his pit and hollowed it out and has fallen into the hole which he has made. His mischief will return upon his own head, and his violence will descend upon his mischief will return upon his own head. I will give thanks to YV according to his righteousness. We can't judge our Creator, so that's kind of odd. And I will sing praise. And I will sing praise to the name YV Most High. Now, let me try reading this again. But even here, I guess I should show you, the farther away I get away from it, I just see 3 verse here, 3 verse here, 3 verse here. This is scrambled yet, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to be having a hard time working with them. I got a space between here, so it means that I was trying to chop them into subjects as well. So, but here I got 2 verse and I got 2 verse, and then it goes back to 3 verse, 3 verse, and a 4 verse and a 4 verse. So might have pieces here, okay, pieces put together to make this. And the job here is to find out if it's a 3 verse, 4 verse, or a 2 verse. YV my Creator, in you I have taken refuge. In you I take refuge. And just getting rid of words that are not necessary to make the verse complete. And I'm thinking a lot of these type of words are just not important, really. And I need these, okay? Save me from all those who pursue me. Okay. Deliver me least I'm thinking, why be our Creator, and you have taken refuge. Save me from all. Save me from everyone. Save me from all those who pursue me. Yeah, because this deliver me isn't needed, because it doesn't really read like these two. That's like adding extra. But down here, least he tear my soul like a lion dragging me away. Well, there. If that's 4, this needs to be 4. That would be the split here. Lest he tear my soul like a lion dragging me away. Well, there's not enough there. Well, there is none to deliver me. Now we're back to 3. Save me from my pursuers. Pursuers. RS? No, purse. Amazing. Sometimes I amaze myself, especially if you knew that I flunked English since the 6th grade. Save me from all those who become my pursuers. So these words are actually being controlled now by these two here. So I think that's okay that they're gone. Now that's 3, now this is 3. Okay, so it's not like it's too far out there yet. My Creator, if I have done this, injustice by my hands, I can get rid of those two. Those don't mean much. If I have done this, and now he's going to describe injustice by my hands. If I have done this, if I have done injustice by my hands, in is wrong, so let's correct the easier ones first. If I have done this, injustice is by my hands. Yeah, the is the wrong spot. Is needs to be here. Injustice is by my hands. But that's if he does this. And now it's going to be what he's describing. So this subject and this subject have to go together. And this subject and that subject, I guess, is going to be connecting those two verses. Yep, they hook together. This is two separate. This is now, so now I have something that looks like this here. If I have rewarded, okay. This does kind of hook to that, so I gotta watch what's going on. Why be my Creator? If I have done this, injustice is. If I have done this, if injustice is by my hands. No, it's odd. It reads odd, but it reads correctly. So right now, that's what I'm seeing. Let me check what's going on in the world here. Let the enemy pursue. Pursue and overtake me. Like this is his punishment for this. If he has cause, or I have plundered him without cause. That needs to be cleaned up. If I have rewarded evil to my friend. Now, this verse, like I said, these two have to hook together to mean that verse. Have I rewarded evil? If I have rewarded evil to my friend, or have plundered him without cause. Yeah, this is not really needed. If I rewarded evil to my friend, or have plundered him without cause, those hook together, and that's kind of like what the reward is, a plundering of them even without a cause. Let my enemy, let's make it first person, not the enemy. Let's make it first person by my enemy pursue. Let my enemy pursue me. Let my enemy pursue and overtake me. Not it, me. And let him trample my life down. Well, I'm not liking the word trample, but it could be very well the word of the day back then. Trample my life down. Let him bring my life down. Let him take my life down into the ground. Down into the abyss. Let him trample my life. Let him take my life. Although I should be looking for a better word than me just putting that in there. Let me look first before I get just carried away. This is verse 5, and I'm in 7. I got to go back. Soul, corpse, deadly to life. Let me pursue my life 147 times. I let my enemy pursue my life. I think just putting that me here would be fine. And then go on to say, and overtake it, and overtake it, overtake me. It is referring to the soul, and that's bad use of the words. And let him trample my life down. Uh-oh, here's it is, and here's it is, and then there's a word in between. So down and trample are really the same Hebrew word. Land. And I come here to see about the word trample, and that just stuns me here. Okay, well, let me see. Let him. It's got to be taken. Or just the word take. Let him take my life. So here is one example that for the first time in two of these that I've actually got the word completely off from what the text is. They don't even come up with a use like take. So I'm going to grab some more, something to drink. My mouth is getting very dry. So give me a second here. Am I okay? Audio is working again. So I don't know if that's going to make my voice any better, or do I need a lozenge? Let's see. Maybe that'll help, or maybe I'm drinking the wrong tea and it's drying my throat out instead of keeping my throat moist to keep going here. Because it has only been 2 hours, and I've made a lot of videos, 40 minutes long, like 200 of them. So anyways, let's see here. Let my enemies pursue pursue me. Dust is blowing in the wind. That would be something that would disappear. So, let my enemies pursue and overtake me, and let him take my life down into the abyss. Let him remove my life. Let me trample would be remove. Trample, remove, that's closer than this take. So rise, YV. I don't like a rise. I like rise, YV, in your anger. Lift up yourself. Against the rage of my adversaries. And arouse yourself for me. YV. Appoint your judgment for me. And let the assembly of our tribes assemble in tribes. I don't need this. And let our tribes encompass you, and over them you return on high. I'm just taking you from here. I'm going to put it here. Take this. And I'll do yellow just to say I moved it. Not really added it. It just needed moving. Over them you will return on him. And let our tribes encompass you, and over them you return on high. That's just not the right wording I would use. I just don't feel that that's how return as the highest. You return on high. This means that the people were fallen away to another god, and then the people have turned back and returned. You have returned as the highest. And over them you return as the highest. You has appointed judgment for me. if this is a king, this verse goes with this verse, and this word needs to be here. And that means this. What do I have? D. Well, it was supposed to be italic. That I've completely added that word. Now let our tribes encompass you, and over them you have returned on as the highest. Have returned as the highest. No complaints. I don't think there can be a complaint there. If I stayed a 3 verse, I've done it here, done it there, done it there. So why not there? And then almost 1, 2, 3, something's not right in here. But I think it's time to do a real good cleanup here, just to say that I should have done this a little earlier, because it's going to be a long one. So I got a couple hours yet to go. And I come down here and I just stomp on it here. But what I'm going to do, again, do this, do this. This means down from here. But up here I want 8 point. I'm going to have to see if I can make a macro out of this. Down, 0, replace all. Don't be searching it. No format, check that, down, okay. Get rid of all the extra spacing like this here. These words will be italic, so it'll be easy to remember I added those. This isn't that big of a change. Neither is this. That was just a switching of the word. And this, that didn't get to an 8 point. Okay, so far I've only replaced the word tribes, abyss, and remove. And that's not much when you consider some of those that I have done before. Well, that's 6 points, so let me start putting those in together. And usually I have this as blue. I guess I've been forgetting that. 2 of those, that's good. 1 there. I thought I got rid of that. So this needs to be here. I'm just guessing at what kind of spacing needs to be done here. And put another one in. Now save that. And let me make it down like that and put these in while you were reading it. Whoops, no, period. Whoops, I got 4 verse here. So this is going to need a little work. But right now, why be my creator, in you I take refuge. Save me from my pursuers, lest he tears my soul like a lion dragging me away, while there is none to deliver me. Why be my creator if I have done this injustice by my hands? If I have done this, and there is injustice, if I have done this, then there is injustice by my hands. I need to go and look to see. I think if there was there. If there. Yeah, if there. So now it's time to go look at the word if. Is if can be used as then. Oh, verse 3 up here. If. Then used 5 times. Truly. If I use the word truly, there is injustice. If I done this. Yeah, I see. I like it the way I've got it. And that. What about there? I'm keeping the word there, so that means I gotta do this to that text. Then there is injustice by my hands. Now let me go down here. This is upright. And this I said I edited up there before. So now it reads, if I have done this, then there, I guess I need the word is here, is injustice by my hands. Okay, now there was the word is up here, I believe. Yep. Oops. Got to get the macros straightened out. I've tried a few times, many times, and I still don't have it done right. If I have rewarded evil to my friend, or have plundered him, I think the word those would be better. Those without cause. If I plundered anyone without cause, or have plundered my friend is him. So maybe I'm just too much in a hurry there. Then he's telling him what he's going to do. So yeah, those two hook together, like I got them. Now let's see about here. Let my enemies pursue and overtake me, and let him, if it's my enemy, it's still him. Let him remove my life down into the ground, into the abyss. So you has appointed don't need either one of them. Whoops. Appoint your judgment for me, and then after that's done, then now our tribes encompass you. Appoint your judgment for me, and let your tribes encompass you. Let our tribes. Yeah, I want to change it back. Get rid of that. This is italic. And let our tribes encompass you. Appoint your judgment for me, and let our tribes encompass you, and over them you have, and over them you will return. And over them you will return as the highest. I like that better. Let's see. Rise, YV, in your anger. Not arise. I don't like the word arise. YV, in your anger. Rise, YV. YV, in your anger.